This one is not just a war, guys. This one has a very big MBA angle to it. And trust me, if you are planning to talk about it in your GDs, PI, or even write about it in your coming essays, then you need to watch this video till the very end because ये सिर्फ एक war नहीं है. This is actually a very strategic move by US, and I'm gonna cover the same thing right here in this video. So let's dive in. Today we are going to break down the 2026 global conflict, but probably not in the way you are used to thinking about it. We are not going to talk about battles, politics, nah. We are going to analyze the whole thing as if it's a massive, meticulously planned corporate strategy. तो देखते हैं यूएस ने कैसे इन चीजों को अंजाम दिया है. वी नीड टू वॉक थ्रू दीज स्टेप्स as if it's a geopolitical affair, but not really in the map, but happening in the company. Now, this idea right here is that we need to unlock the whole event and understand it with the lens of MBA strategists, right? You see, we are digging into this and we are trying to make you understand that here it's not like thinking like historians. We need to think like MBA strategists. US wasn't just waging war, it was executing a very hostile takeover on a very global scale. So let's talk about it. Let's connect dots first. Look at these three steps on my screen. सबसे पहले यूएस ने क्या किया? US went to Venezuela. Now, let me help you understand this. Take this as a strike on Iran, but not a direct strike on Iran. You can't just look at the Middle East in isolation right now. You got to zoom out and see it as a final move in a giant game of global chess. A very series of calculated plays, all designed to do one thing, and that was to completely isolate the target and de risk the US position before that final checkmate. So let me help you out in this. Before this global corporation decided to move into its biggest competitor in this region, it did what any smart company would do. It made two very strategic moves first. You can think of them as preemptive mergers and acquisitions, maybe. And make no mistake, there were no random events. They were essentially groundwork. What exactly am I saying here? So well, let me just step it out back again here. This is the Venezuela capture, guys. Okay. First of all, you secure your own supply chain. So in this case, by taking control of the Venezuelan oil, they actually made sure that if Iran would retaliate back by the Strait of Hormuz, which it is doing right now, उनको कोई कमी नहीं होने वाली. They are not going to face any problem. And that's exactly why they first attacked Venezuela and got the control over the world's largest oil reservoir. Now, it's not enough. Second will definitely help you to think more deeper into it. To neutralize your target's potential friends by, well, outsourcing a distraction. Here in this case, they outsource this to Pakistan. And what do I mean by this? So basically, see, I like to go into the depth of the first one first so that you understand the second one. So the first move kicked off on 3rd of January when what happened? The US launches Operation Absolute Resolve in Venezuela. Now, from a strategic perspective, this was not just brilliant but superb. Now, look at this. What happened? By getting a handle on world's largest oil reservoirs, US basically bought itself an energy insurance policy. And I'm not even kidding it. It's exactly what he did. It completely neutralized that one big piece of leverage Iran always held over the West, and the threat of shutting down of the Strait of Hormuz, which it has already done by the way, and strangling the world's oil supply. Suddenly, that threat just didn't carry the same weight now. Okay, the next piece of the puzzle falls right in place in 26th of February, if I'm not wrong. Pakistan declares an open war on Taliban in Afghanistan. Now, if we are thinking in business terms, what is this? It's a geopolitical version of business process outsourcing, जिसे हम BPO भी कहते हैं. This is a classic example of BPO, where what happened? US essentially empowered a local partner, here in case Pakistan, to take care of a very messy but expensive problem that was a US base in Afghanistan, and the result is that the Taliban was completely bogged down just fighting for its own survival while absolutely no capacity to send help to its ally Iran. And that brings us to the final step, guys. This is the place where US has really played well, I'll tell you. ये जो सप्लाई चेन की एक्विजिशन उसने पहले वेनेजुएला में की, फिर उसके बाद जाके पाकिस्तान की हेल्प लेके अफगानिस्तान पे कवर किया, ऑफ कोर्स अफगानिस्तान को ईरान को हेल्प करने से रोका, एंड फाइनली द लास्ट मूव was the current news which you heard on 28th of February when the supreme leader was no more, right? What did it do? Basically, that all brings us to the final move, the checkmate, with its energy flank totally secure because of Venezuela and its eastern neighbor completely distracted. Iran was basically a sitting duck, isolated and vulnerable. And so, on 28th of February, the joint US Israeli attacks or strikes went ahead, and the crucial point here, though it's not a strike itself, but it was inevitable conclusion of a perfectly executed strategy. Iran had no leverage left, no regional backup, and absolutely no allies to call. Now, just look at the timeline. If you look at the timeline, you would be like, oh God, what's this? We are talking about three massive global events all happening in less than 2 months. That kind of rapid, coordinated sequence is no accident, let me tell you. It is the clear signature of a pre planned, integrated, grand strategy where every single piece was designed to fall into place at exactly the right moment. And this is where it gets really fascinating because you can neatly map these geopolitical moves onto classic business school frameworks. Securing Venezuelan oil, that just goes with vertical integration. If you don't know what vertical integration is, basically acquiring any one of the upside or downside, that is either your supplier or someone who is below you in the supply chain. But here we will call it as acquiring your supplier because securing oil would be similar to that. Next was using Pakistan to neutralize Afghanistan. Well, that is a perfect example of BPO. And this step by step approach is a perfect example of sequential game from the game theory. And blue ocean strategy क्या है और वो इस मामले में कैसे fit होती है is what I want you people to do a little bit of research on your end ताकि आपको भी याद रहे, and let me know in the comment section because this is the most crucial one. No, out of all of this, I want your attention onto something right now. But you know what? Every major corporate restructuring has its own ripple effects, and what the source material here calls a contagion effect. So while the US has brilliantly de risked itself, its own major economies, what has it left us with? This global checkmate has created massive and a lot of consequences for the other economies like us in India. And now we are going to face on who might be the primary collateral victim in all of this. No doubt, it's us. But. I mean, just look at this, right? Just look at the stark contrast on this slide. The US completely insulated itself and it's secured a whole new oil supply in the Atlantic. And at the same time, India, on the other hand, was still structurally dependent on oil coming from Indian Ocean and the Gulf. रशिया के साथ भी जो डिपेंडेंसी थी वो भी कम कर दी ट्रेड की वजह से विद यूएस, and this created a situation of profound asymmetric vulnerability. A very fancy word right now, but it's basically one player making very safe for himself while leaving the other completely exposed, and this time it's India, guys. Okay, we need to be careful right now. So let's see how it really attacked us. The first major blow for India is the direct hit to its financial lifeline. You have over 9 million Indians working in the Gulf region. Understand this. सबको बस अभी यही दिख रहा है that the oil prices will go up, the oil prices will go up, but कोई ये angle नहीं देख पा रहा है. What people need to focus on is this angle. We need to know that if the conflict forces them all to come back home in so-called great repatriation, then India could lose up to $80 billion in annual remittances, and that's a big number to quote. And that's not just a dent, that's actually a big shock for the entire economy. And the second blow comes from the energy costs, of course. Even though oil is technically a single global market, the risk in the Middle East will add on to massive risk premium. We are talking 15 to 25% extra, which is specifically for any oil coming from that region. And for a country as hungry for the imported oil as India, this is basically the trigger for widespread imported inflation, nothing else. And yep, so, right now, what you need to look at is, if you are a business caught in the middle of this, what can you actually do? Well, the analysts suggest that it's time to shift from a growth mindset to a survival mode. Now, what is this going to be? How are we going to shift our mindset? It's time to adopt what is called as a war room strategy just to navigate the crossfire for now. So, there are some few four pillars I would like to discuss with you people, and you can also use it during your interviews when someone says कि आपको क्या करना चाहिए? What do you think India should do? So first, get smart with the financial tools like derivatives to hedge. बहुत सारे ऐसे खर्च होते हैं जिन्हें हम अवॉइड कर सकते हैं, तो फाइनेंशियल hedging is a thing, okay, against crazy fuel prices. So see if you know about it. If no, then definitely go and search for the word hedging, or maybe financial hedging in our case. That is one thing which India should do. Second is diversify the supply chain away from single point of failures. ये तो हमेशा से एक बेस्ट स्ट्रैटेजी रही है, क्योंकि किसी एक पे डिपेंडेंस हमेशा भारी पड़ता है. So therefore, this is the one of the most common things to go with. Like here, the Strait of Hormuz, यहाँ से हटे and friend shoring करें, थोड़ी और जगह जाएं और देखें कहाँ पे options बन रहे हैं. Third is that you have to got to manage your cash, like your life depends on it. Cash flow को high रखना, liquidity को high रखना is very important, because in a high inflation world, liquidity is the survival. And finally, you have to stress test your businesses for absolute worst case scenario. एक टर्म है जिसे हम कहते हैं वूका वर्ल्ड, वॉलेटाइल, अनसर्टेन, कॉम्प्लेक्स एंड एम्बिगुअस. तो वूका वर्ल्ड में बिजनेसेस कैसे काम करते हैं, इस पे बहुत सारे एमबीए के थ्योरम्स हैं, स्टोरीज बनी हुई है. तो प्लीज गो एंड search for this VUCA world strategy, and you will see a lot of case studies and theorems on it. Go study about it, and that is highly applicable in this scenario right now. So, you know, all of this really points to a fundamental shift in the business strategy. In a more fragmented world, the old rules of games are changing. The ultimate competitive advantage is not what is it was used to be. So, what this all boils down to is a crucial new key performance indicator, or we can also call it as KPI. जहाँ पे यहाँ पर हमारा KPI क्या होना चाहिए? Here our KPI should be, see, for decades the goal was always efficiency, making things cheaper and faster. But in an era of global checkmates like this one, the most valuable trait a business can actually show is resilience. तो अभी हमें किस पे काम करना है? We should shift our attention towards resilience before we work on efficiency. This is very, very important. And this quote from the source material right now, which people have been talking about always, sums up perfectly. It says that the focus has to shift from just protecting your profit margins, that is the bottom line, to ensuring that the entire operational line, that is your entire supply chain, your logistics, and your access to materials, is completely secure. The security of the line is the new bottom line. So, well, that really leaves us with a financial situation जहां हमें बहुत ख्याल रखना होगा of any new businesses we are starting, existing businesses को survive कैसे करना है, उन चीजों पे ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा. तो जब भी कोई आपसे इसके बारे में आपका ओपिनियन पूछे वॉर के बारे में, तो किसी हिस्टोरियन की तरह क्यों शुरू हुआ, आगे क्या होगा बोलने की जगह इसे एक फाइनेंशियल एंगल देके एक जियोपॉलिटिकल एंगल प्रॉपरली देकर देखें, तो देखें आपकी डिस्कशन कितनी वर्थफुल लगेगी. एंड सी, as nations play these complex high stake games of geopolitical chess, are we all being forced to redefine what success and stability really means? For businesses, for economies, and for nations, maybe, just maybe, survival is the new growth. So, good luck with your interview, and good luck with any place or any time you're going with this. I really hope that your interview goes well and ये video आपको अच्छी लगी हो. In case you like it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, because that's really, really going to be helpful, and share it with more and more people so that this channel grows, guys. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye and take care.